it is now time for some tag team action. And what a tag team we have here for you, yeah? More than hype. Nathan Martin and Darren Carney, the Irish Tag Team Champions of the World down in Fight Factory and in Phoenix Wrestling, a team that's currently undefeated. They are filled to the brim with potential, and while many fans may dislike their attitude, they do have perhaps an arrogance about them that some young wrestlers tend to have. But is it arrogance if they back it up in the ring? That's the question. Another question is, will they be able to back it up in the ring tonight as they take on a tag team that the Munster wrestling scene is more than familiar with in Rough Stuff? As Billy Bedlam rightly points out, the team of CT Flexer and Paul Scarf, Rough Stuff, are making their Phoenix Wrestling debut. But as I said, they are no strangers to the Munster wrestling scene, former champions in the Munster wrestling scene, and a serious force to be reckoned with. The power and the strength of these two men is something more than hype should be aware of, and arguably they should fear. More than hype, of course, all the potential in the world. But presently, now, today, do they have what it takes to take on a team that's already well established in these parts, in Rough Stuff, and already a lot of talking back and forth, a lot of mind games. Again, more than hype, very confident, but they want to make sure they're not too confident. They don't want to get too cocky around CT Flexer or Paul Scarf, or they will pay for it very quickly. Darren Carney getting very riled up from the fans, mocking more than hype, but they have to be very careful. They can't take their eyes off the prize here. They can't take their focus off of Rough Stuff, or again, they will pay for it. Very exciting match. Two very different teams, but two very talented teams with great chemistry, great teamwork. They both know their partners inside and out, and it should be very interesting to see who wins this when it's all said and done. It's quite a difficult one to predict, and it appears that Nathan Martin will be starting things off here against CT Flexer. Nathan Martin already taking the piss out of CT Flexer. Perhaps not the wisest move. As CT Flexer initiates a test of strength, but Nathan Martin knows better than to get into a test of strength with CT Flexer. And CT Flexer slapping Nathan in the face here. The fans saying that he's a psycho, referring to Psycho Nathan Martin. We have seen Psycho Nathan at his best, but he just took a dropkick there from CT Flexer, as did Darren Carney. And now more than hype, right from the start, are where they don't want to be, outside of the ring. And what's Rough Stuff looked like they were gonna go for a dive there, but more than hype reversing things around, throwing them outside the ring. And now what are more than hype going for here? Looks like they're just, again, taking the piss out of Rough Stuff, as they like to do with their opponents, try and get into the heads of their opponents, but Rough Stuff cutting them off, throwing them to the outside. And a suicide dive with Paul Scarf, taking out both members of More Than Hype. And CT Flexor over the top. Again, taking out both members of More Than Hype, and CT Flexor is fired up. Rough Stuff are here to make a statement. This is their Phoenix Wrestling debut, and while More Than Hype are undefeated, Rough Stuff want to come in, get that ideal start that has them 1-0 right from the beginning. And CT Flexor with Nathan Martin fighting in the bar. You can't get the win out there, but you can still do a lot of damage, particularly if Foxy doesn't have his eyes on you. But Foxy is counting, because those are the rules, and they want to be careful not to get themselves counted out here. Action happening all around Dolan's Warehouse right now. But in the end, it's Rough Stuff that get both Paul Scarf and CT Flexor in the ring with Nathan Martin, using the numbers game to their advantage. And this is not where Nathan Martin wants to be. He could be in a lot of trouble here. But Darren Carney, behind Rough Stuff's back, gets caught. And Darren Carney goes flying. A drop toe hold by CT Flexor, and More Than Hype in a difficult position. Rough Stuff with some innovative offense, as the saying goes. CT Flexor, another drop kick to a seated Nathan Martin, drops an elbow, and Rough Stuff looking very dominant, very comfortable in this match thus far. CT Flexor hammering fist down on Nathan Martin. Goes for a suplex, it's reversed by Nathan Martin. Puts CT Flexor into the ropes, and Darren Carney was, with CT Flexor's back turned, kicks him in the back, but it's not enough. As CT Flexor throws Darren back into the ring. Perhaps not the wisest move, as now both members of More Than Hype are in the ring, and Paul Scarf gets punched off the apron. And now More Than Hype using the numbers to their advantage. Perhaps a mistake there from CT Flexor to throw Darren Carney into the ring with him. And that's where a fired up CT Flexor has to be careful. And Paul Scarf here as well. You see him trying to get into the ring, Foxy stopping him, and now Foxy's attention is diverted away from what's happening in the opposite corner. Rough Stuff are two very, very fired up competitors right now. And More Than Hype thrive off that. They thrive off the mind games, getting into their opponents' heads and taking advantage of mistakes created by that. Darren Carney gets tagged in. What could be going for here? A kick to CT Flexor, but CT Flexor's fighting back. CT Flexor has great strength, great endurance. He's someone who's able to take a beat down and still come back at the end of the day. But that's not going to be easy against More Than Hype, as the crowd try to will CT Flexor on. But More Than Hype doing the smart thing, keeping it in their corner so they can tag in and out. Quick tags, keeping both members fresh, both members on the attack. As Paul Scarf stands. Oh, but again, Nathan Martin not forgetting about Paul Scarf, making sure to attack him every now and then. So CT Flexor can't make the tag if he gets that opportunity. Nathan Martin throws him over in a headlock, trying to slow CT Flexor down. He doesn't want to have to deal with any more dives to the outside, any more fights in the bar. He wants to get the job done right now. And so far, Nathan Martin and Darren Carney Not the most experienced wrestlers on this show, but you wouldn't think that by watching them. They've learned very quickly, and despite their age and despite their lack of experience, tend to use some veteran moves, tend to have some veteran instincts in that ring. As we're seeing as Nathan Martin takes full advantage of CT Flexor. And Flexor with some very short fists to the face of Nathan Martin, but Nathan Martin getting his leg over the left arm of CT Flexor, blocking those fists as he taunts Paul Scarf while doing it. CT Flexor finally getting Nathan Martin off him. And an elbow to Nathan Martin. Now going over the top. And a kick to the midsection. But Nathan Martin with an uppercut. Rocking Flexor. And he has him up with Flexor. Back to his feet. An outstanding drop kick. And both men are down. Both of their partners wait anxiously to be tagged in. It's really just a case of who gets to their feet first. The fans willing on CT Flexor. And you look at Paul Scarf, he's raging right now. Paul Scarf, he's going to explode when he gets in there. And he gets in there attacking Darren Carney with everything that he has. And a German suplex. And a head kick by Nathan Martin, very quick to attack Paul Scarf. And Paul Scarf reverses. And could he be going for a second German? Nathan Martin reverses it. German of his own. No, Paul Scarf reverses it. And Paul Scarf getting the better of Nathan Martin in that exchange. And now CT Flexor's back in. And this is looking very good for Rough Stuff. And a 3D by Rough Stuff. But Nathan Martin breaks up the cover. And that could have been it if Nathan Martin wasn't there to break that up. The undefeated streak of More Than Hype could have been cut very, very short by the debuting Rough Stuff. Nathan Martin using Paul Scarf as a weapon against CT Flexor on a super kick. And some great double teaming by More Than Hype. This could be it. Paul Scarf kicks out with 2. It's going to take a lot to put away either member of Rough Stuff. As we've seen before, the endurance of both Paul Scarf and CT Flexor is something that all of their opponents are going to have to deal with. And the defiance of Paul Scarf, he knows he's in trouble. He knows he's going to have to deal with both members of More Than Hype here. But still showing that he doesn't care. But CT Flexor up on the apron. And a slingshot spear through the middle rope. Very, very impressive by CT Flexor. And this could be it. Nathan Martin is in a whole world of trouble. But Darren Carney catching the foot of CT Flexor. And Nathan Martin with a low blow while Foxy's back is turned. And he's going for a small package. And he gets it. The fans aren't happy with that. They did take a shortcut. But credit where it's due, More Than Hype taking advantage of the opportunity and walking out of here with the win. But a very, very respectable performance by Rough Stuff. And we will definitely be seeing them again in a Phoenix Wrestling ring. But very frustrating for Rough Stuff all the same. They put in their best effort. It looked like they were going to get the win, and they come up short via a low blow while Foxy's back is turned. More Than Hype won't care. A win is a win to them. But Rough Stuff will be wanting their revenge. And if I was either member of More Than Hype right now, I'd watch my back. The crowd showing their respect to Rough Stuff. And hopefully we get that rematch sooner rather than later.